I'm a chicken, I'm a having a ball.
Good morning, everybody. There's a bit of a blast from the past. For you older children, you'll remember that song very well from your younger days when we used to sing it together. And I owe that song. Sorry, I've got a bit of a frog in my throat today. We'll be talking about frogs later this week, but not the type that you get in your throat. And I've been inspired this week for our assembles to think about one of the most marvellous, in some ways unexplained aspects of life. And it's all about life itself, really. And the person who has inspired me this week is Zachary from Year 6. And it started off back when we were talking about children who lived on farms or kept animals. And we learned that Zachary had some geese on his farm or his piece of land. And so all this week, Zachary has brought me great joy by bringing me different eggs in for me to have a look at. And so I'll share them with you. And then we're going to have a look at all this week. I thought we'd talk about life cycles. So here's a question to be pondering whilst I show you these eggs. Me and Elise were talking about this morning. Which came first? The chicken or the egg? I'll leave you to have a think about that and a discussion in class. Which do you think came first, the chicken or the egg? Where did the very first egg come from? Where did the very first chicken come from? It's a very philosophical question. Elise thinks she's worked it out, but I'll leave that one with you to have a think about. So these are the eggs that I am most used to, certainly. And these, of course, are hen's eggs. And we know that eggs can either be fertilised and grow into chicks, or they can be unfertilised, which are the ones that we eat. So this is my normal egg, a hen's egg. And then earlier this week, and he carried it so carefully into school, Zachary brought me a different egg. And he brought me, so remember that's what a hen's egg looks like. He brought me in a duck egg. So have a look at that. I'll just show you these to compare them. I was surprised. I thought a duck egg might be much larger than a hen's egg. I also thought it might be a different colour. I thought it might be blue because, in fact, my dining room's a bit this colour. Duck egg blue is an actual colour, but this egg, as you can see, is really quite white and very, very similar in size to the hen egg. And Zachary tells me it was a brown duck, we think, that laid this egg. So there you go. It's nothing to do with the colour of the bird. Perhaps it's to do with what they eat. I don't know, Zachary, do you know? Let me know. And then on Thursday or Friday, cradled in Zachary's arms, he brought me a different egg altogether. And he brought me to show me look at the size of this, a goose egg. So this here is a goose egg. Again, it's unfertilised, so I can eat it just like the eggs that we buy from the supermarket. Look how much bigger it is. So I went to seek some advice from Seth in Year 5, who knows all about chickens and geese and all those kinds of things. And he tells me that if I was to have this one as a boiled egg, I'd need to cook it for probably around 6 minutes rather than the 3 minutes that I would usually cook a hen's egg. So Zachary, I'm absolutely thrilled. I'm kind of fascinated. I kind of don't want to cook it. I know I'll have to, just by the difference in this. And obviously it's been laid by a much bigger bird. So really that got me thinking about life cycles. Again, how wonderful the world of nature is, building on last week, really. And that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to have a look at 3 different life cycles with some amazing new books that I've bought, which have different life cycles in each one. So today we're going to have a look at from egg to chicken, or chicken to egg, whichever way you want to think about that. And some of you will remember when you were in reception, I think probably children who are in Year 2 would remember this, and maybe Year 3, that you had either duck eggs or chicken eggs and you watched them in an incubator whilst they hatched. I just think it's marvellous to think about the whole circle, the cycle of nature. So today's life cycle to think about and wonder about is chicken to egg or egg to chicken. What is a chicken? A chicken is a type of bird. All birds have, if you've done your classification of animals, you might be able to answer that. 2 things. Oh no, 3 things that all birds have in common. All birds have feathers, all birds have wings, and all birds lay eggs. Those are the 3 things: feathers, wings, and lay eggs. We'll find out in a second. Not all birds can fly. And birds have mouths called beaks or bills, but they don't have teeth. Not all birds can fly. Ostriches have wings and feathers and lay eggs, but they're too big to get off the ground. An ostrich can grow more than 2 meters tall. And it says here, I thought my goose egg was massive, but there's a picture here of an ostrich egg, and one ostrich egg weighs the same as, guess how many of the hen's eggs would be equal to the ostrich egg? 24. It weighs the same as 24 hen's egg. And there's a picture to show the difference in size. And there's the ostrich there. He's got wings and feathers. He lays eggs, but he can't, well, she can't fly because she's too big. Too big. I think, can you think of any other birds that can't fly? Penguins. I don't think penguins can fly, but they still have eggs. Oh, they still lay eggs, definitely. They have feathers and they have wings, so they still got those 3 characteristics of birds. The story of a chicken. This is an amazing chicken fact. It's amazing. Tell your parents this when you get home. There are more chickens in the world than any other type of bird. A female chicken is called a hen, and of course it's the females that lay the eggs. And a male chicken is called a rooster or a cockerel. And a baby chicken is called a chick. Easy to remember that one, isn't it? A chicken has 3 stages in its life cycle: egg, chick, and adult chicken. So there we are. Egg, chick, and adult chicken. And then, of course, it's a cycle because it all begins again. The circle of life. I might have to play that later on this week, that wonderful song from The Lion King. Oh, and here we are. This is all about nests. I'm going to show you something really special in a second. Hens start laying eggs when they are around 6 months old. First, they need a nest to lay the eggs in. Most birds build their nests in trees. They may use twigs, grass, or moss. And we've got birds nesting all around school at the moment, including Mr. and Mrs. Blackbird, who've made a nest just behind Freya's garden. The smallest nests are built by hummingbirds. Weaver birds have grass nests that hang in trees. Hens build their nests on the ground. They find somewhere dry and quiet and use straw or grass to make the nest. And there's our hen right in the middle of the picture. There's the, was it a weaver bird? Yeah, a weaver bird. Look at his marvellous nest that he's made. It just amazes me how birds know how to do this. And then there's the little hummingbird in the smallest nest. And in my garden this week, I can barely pick this up, I found evidence of something that I knew had happened. Our starlings, who live in our gutters, make a right old row, have been picking up bits of straw from the rabbit's cage and twigs and various things, and I knew they'd been nesting up there. And then this week, I heard the sound of baby sparrows, not sparrows, starlings, and the mum and dad starlings taking food from the bird feeders and taking it up to the gutters to feed them. And on the ground, I can barely pick it up. I don't know whether you can see, this is a fragment of the starling's egg that we'd seen on the floor. And I don't know whether you'll pick it up on your screen, but this really is a beautiful light pale blue, the starling egg. Very fragile, a very, very thin shell, certainly compared to quite a thick shell on the goose egg. So that's exciting news. Always look out for little shells. If you do ever pick them up, make sure you wash your hands really carefully afterwards. A hen usually lays, did you know this? How many eggs do you think a hen lays every day? Have a little guess. 1, 2, 3 or 4? The answer is 1. Usually lays 1 egg a day. And the eggs will only grow into chicks if the hen has already mated with a rooster. When a rooster wants to mate, he crows loudly, and as they mate, the rooster fertilizes the hen's eggs. The hen starts to lay her eggs a day after mating. Only fertilized eggs can grow into chicks. So if you've just got hens, you won't ever have chicks because you need a hen and a rooster or a cockerel to make a chick. When the hen has laid all of her eggs, she sits on them to keep them warm. This important job is called, oh, this is a new word, brooding. So that's what it's called when a hen lays on her nest to keep her eggs warm. The hen has to sit on her clutch, that's what it's called when there's a group of eggs, while the chicks grow. And if the eggs become cold, the chicks stop growing. Oh, you won't believe this. I've got a picture in this book of what happens inside the egg whilst the chick is growing. Have a look at that picture. It's amazing. And that picture is a picture of a little chick inside the egg. I don't know how they took that. They must have had some kind of camera that could see through the shell of the egg. Inside the egg, the chick gets food from the yellow yolk. The albumen, which is what the yolk is called, is the clear... Oh, no. The yellow yolk and the albumen. The albumen is the clear liquid that we call the egg white. It protects the chick and keeps it warm. Hens lay eggs even when they have not mated, and that's how we get the eggs that we eat. The eggs we eat have not been fertilised, and they don't have chicks inside them. And that's one of my favourite ways to eat an egg, with lovely soldiers. A dippy egg, we call it at our house. A boiled egg. And I dip my toast soldiers in, and I like my yolk to be quite runny. And then the eggs hatch. Got a little model here, look, of a little egg, not to scale, and a chick hatching out of that. The hen laid her eggs 3 weeks ago, and now the chicks are ready to hatch out of them. Each chick has a sharp point on its top beak called an egg tooth, and it uses its egg tooth to make a hole in the shell. The shell begins to crack open, and the chick uses its body to push the shell apart. And then it climbs out of the egg, and the chick is tired and its feathers are wet, but it can cheep very loudly. So there's the stages. He uses his little egg tooth to break open the shell, and then starts to use his body to push the shell away. And then finally, the chick is hatched. And very soon those feathers dry off, and they become the chirky little, beautiful yellow chicks that we all know. And the hen looks after her newly hatched chicks. She keeps them warm under her wings. The chicks are 2 weeks old, and they are ready to leave the hen house. They want to explore around. Chicks and chickens like to scratch around in the dirt looking for tasty worms or bugs to eat. So we've almost gotten through that life cycle. The chicks grow into adults in just a few months. So it takes us, years, doesn't it, as human beings to grow into adults. And I know year 5, you're looking at that adult life cycle at the moment, and growing up and changes and all those things. But for chicks, it just takes a few months. The fluffy feathers have gone, and the birds now have new glossy feathers. And the adult birds have red fleshy combs on their heads. The combs help to keep them cool. And soon, these young hens will start to lay egg. And when a hen mates, a new life cycle begins. So there's the chicks, all grown up into hens and cockerels. And so that wonderful life cycle begins again. It's a marvel, isn't it? Life cycles are amazing. So have you thought of the answer? Which came first, the chicken or the egg? The chicken or the egg, or the goose or the egg? Have a chat about it, share your ideas, and let me know what you think. But until tomorrow, I'll leave you with one more shot of Zachary's goose egg before I cook it and boil it, remembering to do it for longer than before. And tomorrow we'll have a look at the life cycle of a special plant. So I'll see you in the morning. Have a lovely Tuesday after Bank Holiday Monday, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.